Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Ana Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel to Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here for another week of The Gavel. We have a lot of wonderful news to share with you. And even though I am away from home, so please bear with me if I have a little glitches, but I'm going to cancel those thoughts. And I'm just going to hope that everything goes smoothly here. So I first, as is customary to me, I want to first invoke the presence of our Lord Jesus and say that, and ask for a little protection of this space, because we know that these are difficult times for us truth tellers, because our voice is being tried to being silenced. So I came across this week with Proverbs 11, which talks about the folly of wickedness. And many of you will relate to this little passage of this very long chapter, which I urge you all to read sometime soon. Dishonest seals are abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright, but the wicked will fall by its own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright will deliver to them, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust. This is so relevant to what we live through, because it is our dignity that these criminals have not been able to take away. They have probably taken away our reputations. They have taken away our property. They have done all sorts of lawfare against us, but they have not been able to take away our dignity. And that's what they want. So declare yourself triumphant that you have been able to overcome. So now let's go for, please remember to share, subscribe, and like to defeat the censorship that our voices are trying to fight against the deep state and the powerful people that want to shut us down. Today is July the 30th, and officially the government is celebrating Whistleblower Day. National Whistleblower Day for the courageous and aspiring whistleblowers that want to denounce the heinous human experimentation program perpetrated by government criminals at the FBI, at the CIA, at the DHS, at the Space Force, at the NSA. We want whistleblowers to muster the courage and become heroes for the rest of history for having denounced the atrocities and crimes against humanity, not only perpetrated against law-abiding Americans, but also against innocent civilians around the world. So let's hope that this official day inspires some of them to come forth and talk about the atrocities that start at the FBI. So today we have really good news. Democrat, let me show you. Some of you might remember that a few weeks ago, Targeted Justice, particularly on the 13th of July, Targeted Justice announced that here Gwendolyn Adams lookalike NSA national head counsel, was still controlling the NSA. Democrat-Russia collusion a hoax investigator, April Dogs, was fired as NSA counsel on Tuesday, according to the New York Times. The Daily Wire on the 23rd, 10 days after Targeted Justice, reported that April Dawes was still at the NSA. She was a Biden appointee. She worked for the Senate Democrats on the Russia collusion witch hunt against Trump. And then Laura Loomer demanded her, the independent journalist Laura Loomer demanded that this deep state operative be fired. So, it seems that many of these journalists that are the ones that are letting Trump know that he still has all these, Trump and Bondi and all these people, that they still have these deep state operatives entrenched in their operations. And the problem with this is that they're still going out there, and I tell you because I am working in cases for Targeted Justice where there's people that were loyal to the positions of the prior administration of no transparency and persecution of victims of government weaponization, and those people are still doing their job, insisting, and Bondi and Patel are clueless about it. So they denounced this, and this woman is out of the NSA. And you should know, one of the important reasons why she needed to be out of there is because the NSA is the one, we have InfraGard, we have, the criminals at InfraGard, because that's what they are, FBI, but also NSA does the most sophisticated hacking and intrusion in our lives, relying on the illegal FISA warrants that a court already in New York already declared it, even though it didn't declare it to be a national injunction, which it needs to be done. It did not declare it. It declared it that it was in violation of the Fourth Amendment. And that is what Congress needs to get courageous about and eliminate this absolutely criminal program of FISA Section 702. So, having said that, there seems to be a good employee agent at the FBI, at least one. Can you believe it? Within the FBI deep state operatives, there seems to be one or a few white hats enabling the truth to come out. Today, a news reported that someone let me put you the picture here to the stage, that someone rescued bags of documents that were going to be burnt and hid them in a back room. Thousands of documents were found in a back room at the Hoover building. Nobody knows who did this, but clearly this is a whistleblower that wants for the truth to come out. Somebody who must be sick to the stomach of the criminality going on at the FBI, and particularly at the Terrorist Screening Center, where they entrap and make up stuff about you and me in order to continue spying on us and sending our names to the CIA and Space Force to carry out their electromagnetic torture. So thousands of records in burn bags were found in a back room. Now they're all headed for Congress. And that's good news, and I hope it lands in the correct hands in Congress. The prior regime put thousands of classified documents in burn bags, but an unknown hero moved them to a secret room in the Hoover building before they could get burned. What really bothers me here is that Kash Patel is still doesn't have a grasp of the criminality he is presiding over. The first thing he needs to do is take all the people that framed the J6ers, interrogate them, and start deciding whether he's going to fire them or not, because these are the people that attempted against our nation. J6ers, unfortunately, they still don't understand very much the logistics about having been placed by the FBI in the terrorist screening database 2 secret categories that are reserved for people that do not meet the reasonable suspicion criteria and are not terrorists. And that comprises 97% of the terrorist screening database. Let that sink in. They need to understand that that is how their lives are turned around. It's not just the FBI, it's the collaboration, not only among the executive agencies that collude amongst each other, which I'm going to talk about another one later, but also that they tap into into courts, so that the courts are also weaponized against these people that find it very hard to fight such a powerful entity. So I'm going to dedicate a part of this because to the individual plight of two very courageous, targeted individuals that they don't know they're targeted, but they are fighting the good fight. This one here is a mother. The courts have been colluding with the criminals to strip a victim of government weaponization from her child. This is a really smart, a disturbing story of political persecution. This was reported by the Gateway Pundit. Is unfolding not just in the courtrooms of Washington, D.C., but in the lives of those who dare defend the accused. A paralegal with Patriot Legal Defense, an organization that supports the politically persecuted, particularly January 6 defendants, now finds herself in a heart-wrenching custody battle. Her child taken, her life upended for her work and her beliefs. You are all going to identify with this. Because of doxing and attacks, this paralegal, a dedicated conservative reporter, and an important part of the mission of Patriot Legal Defense, she has lost temporary custody of her 5-year-old son in nearly year-long battle. Here's the kicker. In her advocacy for the falsely accused January 6 demonstrators and exposing the crooked trials in the D.C. courts, her work was named as the reasons to deprive her from her child because of her beliefs and her work. You know, this is a hardworking woman in a law firm working for patriots who cherishes her conservative values, and she is being treated as if she was a prostitute and to having her child taken away because of the kind of work she does. Do you know? And this is absolute insanity and weaponization. The dispute sparked last summer and stems from a false affidavit by her bitter ex-spouse. Many of us know about that, right? Who cited to the court her work with January 6 prisoners as dangerous. So she assisted the January 6 defendants with pro se lawsuits against, and here's the kicker, the Bureau of Prisons for alleged medical deprivation. I am absolutely certain that it was the Bureau of Prisons that put this incredible woman on the TSDB. They called their buddies at the FBI. Here, I have someone who's making our life hard. Make her life a living hell. And the FBI acquiesced because that's what they're good at, destroying innocent, law-abiding Americans' lives. So she has been the sole provider and caretaker of her son her entire life. And the ex-spouse took advantage of the court weaponization against her to take her child away. So for those of you, I'm going to put here who wants to support her legal, here, I'm going to put in the chat, anybody that wants to support this courageous woman. I don't know her personally. I've never spoken to her, but she, I am in admiration of her courage and her determination to do what's right. So, I think that many of you can relate. So just like there's another person that she is in Twitter. Her name is Jenna Ryan. She's also a J6er. and and she is fighting. She is fighting for justice, like so many of us. And she's really smart, filing a lawsuit pro se. But what is a real shock for malicious prosecution by the prosecutor that even made up evidence against her. But what is a real shocker to me is that the Pam Bondi and Harmeet Dillon Department of Justice is defending this prosecutor that was sued in her individual capacity under what is called Bivens, which is a case that for this a little short mini course on civil rights law is that the Civil Rights Act was enacted to go against bad state actors, but it doesn't include federal actors because guess what? It never occurred to the Congress that there would be bad federal actors like the FBI criminals that placed us on the secret list. No, it would never occur to them. So then it's a case called Bivens versus seven unnamed agents. And that case created via a judicial fiat a cause of action against federal agents when they violate your civil rights. So that's how she's suing this prosecutor that is alleging to be completely immune, which is not true because they only have qualified immunity, and only when they act correctly. I hope that Jenna Ryan gets a good break and can prove her case and can pass the hurdle of the motion to dismiss. I personally think that the Department of Justice shouldn't be defending somebody. There's a conflict of interest here because the Department of Justice is supposed to prosecute not only criminally but also civilly the civil rights violations. So how can you be defending somebody accused of that? But that's just me because I have a very, black, when it comes to ethics, this is black and white. There's no gray areas here. You either have dignity, like I started reading at the beginning of this podcast, or you don't act with integrity and dignity. That's just my position. Anyway, so what's interesting is that Jenna uploaded an affidavit that I'm going to share with you by one of these FBI obsessed, deep state obsessed that everybody that was anti-vax or anti-COVID lockdowns or that went to protest in school board meetings, any of those, or a whistleblower or a MAGA or a conservative, well, any of those is a terrorist. So I'm going to show you that. Let me see if I can share this screen because here is what we all need to demand that is unveiled through our FOIA requests. We want to see the affidavits by which an FBI criminal, knowing he was lying, put us on the, let me share this screen here, on the terrorist screening database, knowing. So this you can look at Jenna Ryan in Twitter. I urge you to follow her. And this is a statement of facts by this special agent. And he goes into the, their little language of creating an environment of dangerousness and terrorism where there ain't any. Okay, so I urge you. It's a long. They even go into our Facebook pages to extract our pictures and the content that we put in there to support their claims of terrorism. So in that sense, I urge you to be very careful with, I have said this before, with what you put in social media, because now we have a confirmation that these criminals use your social media to support false claims of terrorism. and they're just absolutely disgusting and repulsive. And I'm not going to go into that because it's how can anybody intentionally condemn a person to a life of lawfare, of weaponization, of it just doesn't cross my mind. For money, how dare you? And that's where our Proverbs 11 comes in, because this is what awaits them. What awaits them is that the unfaithful will be caught by their lust, that righteousness delivers us from death, but the wicked will fall by their own wickedness. We don't have to do anything. God is going to take care of the whole thing. But we will, at least a targeted justice, and as long as I have life and health, I am going to fight for the incarceration of every last criminal that destroyed the very last life of every individual, including those that are not with us, like Adam Garcia. I'm going to fight for his little girl to have justice for what they did to his dad. So anyways, going back to what I wanted to cover for today before my time is up, is that the FBI, thanks to Eve, she put out a document whereby the FBI admits that they pay confidential, let me put it here so you see it, confidential human sources, they pay them, there we go, they pay them to commit crimes. And in order to sort of sweeten it, they call it otherwise illegal activity. So just because the FBI and it gives them the endeavor of carrying out the illegal actions, well, they're only illegal if the FBI doesn't entitle them to carry them out, because they are otherwise illegal activity. And we'd like to know, when you're in your FOIAs, right, what otherwise illegal activity has been perpetrated against me and my property by pursuant to the instructions and orders of the FBI criminals. This is a 2012 memo that I don't know when it was put out there, but clearly it's an admission of guilt, because government weaponization happens against that 97% people in the two blacklist categories of the terrorist screening database. Are they going to do this otherwise legal activity against people that are not in those two blacklists? Of course not. That's what it's for. And the fact that it's paid for taxpayer money should be a scandal, and every single agent that engaged in this conduct should be fired tomorrow. I don't even know why the media is not covering this, because this is huge. And well, we have to continue putting this out there. I know that I put it in Twitter, and I am counting on you, digital warriors, to repost the information. We are undergoing a lot of censorship, all of our digital warriors, from Targeted in Nebraska, Ortang, Darren, Jason, we're all, Dr. Lambert, we're all being censored. We really count on you. It does not cost you anything, absolutely nothing, to do a repost, or even better, copy and paste it on as a post of yours, because that is harder to, it's harder to censor. And yeah, a dear friend says that her business was destroyed, and many of us know exactly what that means. And as I told her this week, I said, I like to look at the bright side of things, and one of the things that I think it's the bright side of this horrific that I don't wish upon anybody, not even on the criminals that are doing it. Well, actually, I could consider putting them in FEMA camps with V2K hive minds 24/7 for at least a month, so they understand empathy, so they start understanding that. But aside from that, I think that this program has allowed us to improve, to fortify our spirit, to become better people. And I know I say this all the time, but that's in any time, that's a win. It's a win that we are becoming better persons. And like I say, Jesus can come here now. I know I'm going with him, but these criminals that perpetrate these crimes on us, they are in big trouble, and they should be very scared because they're not going to the same place we're going. So they don't let you use a X platform. Yeah, I get it. A lot of it. Yeah, the Lighthouse is getting shadow banned too. That's why those of you that don't have that much visibility, that haven't been, please come in and start reposting stuff and do it in through social and do it in TikTok. Our TikTok account, Targeted Justice TikTok account, was, the criminals shut it down immediately. So we depend on you to put this content out there. Now, let me go for, so yeah, the otherwise criminal activity is clearly something that, no matter what you call it, it's taxpayer-funded crimes. And the people that order them have to pay for it. So let's start. You can copy it from my X and from Eve's X and from Targeted Justice Substack. Also put it out there and start demanding. Start demanding from Tulsi Gabbard. Start demanding from Cash Patel. Start demanding from Jan Bongino. What is this, and what are you doing to make sure it's not happening anymore? Because you and I know that these criminals are still going into our houses. They're still killing our pets. And they're still, the boots on the grounds are still doing otherwise illegal activity that is illegal. Okay, so now I'm close to my end here, and I want to talk about targeted action. We already have more than 150 people that have signed up, and this is going to be the greatest event in TI history. You need to join us. We need to make a declaration of freedom from modern day slavery. You need to be there. You need to be part of history. We are, I updated, when you go to targetedjustice.com, you go to targeted action, activism, and then targeted action 2025 tab. That's where it is. Now, I am going to try to reach out to the people, and I urge you to do the same, to the targeted people that don't know they're targeted, such as the J6ers. They need to understand that their pardon did not erase them from the list, that these vengeance hungry, because they're vengeance hungry FBI agents. Imagine, right now they're really scared. They're really scared because they know that they could be out of a job tomorrow for their crimes against these innocent people. Do you remember there was a grandmother that was praying and they put her in jail, these criminals? She was praying. That's just one of many examples. So they are so scared now, and they're trying to entrap all of you. That's why I tell you, walk with dignity and in a straight lane, because they are trying everything they can to justify their malfeasance, and you will not give them that chance. Okay? So I updated some of the information. We have some TIs that are actively getting appointments with representatives and senators. Even if your senator is a deep state Democrat, you know what? Ask for the meeting, because we're going to bring them the evidence. And at least I know some of them are supporting Ana Paulina Luna's bill to repeal the Patriot Act, which should be a priority for all of us, because that will substantially reduce, if not altogether eliminate, the gang stalking. So I need you to not just give up, just because you're, if your representatives and senators are Democrat. No, let's show up and let's put them on the spot with credible evidence. Remember, we have Havana syndrome to talk about. We have FISA Section 702. We have the repeal of the Patriot Act, and the inevitable need for civilians to be included in the Havana Act, because Congress needs to know that they can no longer hide the fact that there are more civilian victims than federal employees in this program. So, yeah, we're all shadow banned. Hi, Maria. Hola, Mariana. Beso, Mariana. Mariana, she's a warrior from Mexico, and I am in so much awe of her, because I'm so in so much awe of so many of you that are incredible survivors and warriors. And okay, regarding because Melissa wrote to me regarding the meeting places. Okay, please understand, we are looking for restaurants that can hold at least 100 people. We can have probably, depending on the people that are coming, we can have at least 2 of them for different tastes, right? And we're going to announce them. When you sign up, we're going to be from 3 to 6. On the 5th, we are going to tell you, we're going to have send you, that's why you have your emails. We're going to send you an email. We're going to confirm you're registered, and this is where we're going to meet. But we're going to be there. And regarding the places where we're going to do the banners and the flyer distribution, we did not want to announce it way ahead of time, because we don't want the criminals to we know that they can infiltrate our group, but that's why we need to have the registration. And if you can fill the membership, even better, because anybody that doesn't have their tag that we're going to have, it's out of there. We don't want them there. Okay, we don't want any troublemakers. For those of you that went to targeted action, you know that it all went smoothly, and there were no perps around in our rallies. So we're going to do banners in strategic locations in DC. We're going to do flyer distribution in places that there's a lot of people, and most importantly, you're going to get to meet TIs from all over the nation and from Europe that are coming too, and it's going to be a really memorable time. Ask those people that went to Targeted Action 2024. It was truly memorable. And for those of you that want to live stream from there, we will set it up so that we can all live stream from different locations. So yeah, Mariana. Okay, so that's it for today. I didn't want to extend myself too much. Please make sure to make arrangements to go there. The reason you're not going to miss it is because I know it's going to be a historic moment, and then you're going to be so angry at yourself if you miss it. I want to mention again, I'm traveling, and I don't go anywhere without my silent night. So get in touch with Armando. For me, it's a matter of dreams, and it's a matter of R&M, because I don't have V2K, but I hear from testimonies from people that do have V2K that it's really it's really helping them. Okay, and the reason I know that is because otherwise the criminals wouldn't have tried to burn down his shop. Anyways, Rosa, I know. Look, everybody's torture, I am so sure, that has gone up. We all know that. We all feel it. And the only thing I can tell you is that every day that I am awake, I am fighting to shut these criminals down. And I am not afraid of them. So that's my promise to you. Okay? Regarding the person asking about joining a court case, we don't have the court cases we have right now are FOIA cases. We don't have the lawsuits per se. There is something that I was thinking of doing, and that will come. Probably I'll announce it after Targeted Action. But we're just watching. We're just playing it by ear, because I really think that very soon good things are going to happen. And see, my mom used to say, the person, it's de la esperanza for those Spanish speakers there. De la esperanza vive el cautivo. Those that are in jail live because of hope, right? So many people want to allow their subliminal messaging to get them down and depressed and saying, no, this is not ever going to end. I refuse to believe that, because we have exposed the beast. And one little book that I think I have recommended it previously, but I can recommend it now. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. I really urge you to read that little book, because it's about somebody he was a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. And, we are undergoing a silent Holocaust. And he said, quoting Nietzsche, he said, "He who has a why finds a how." And that's why I tell you, when you think of these thoughts of what you're going to do when you're free, how you're going to walk down the beach without being chased by perps or being, harassed, or go to the supermarket, how just envision freedom, envision how it felt when you didn't appreciate it that much, but when you were free, and work and just hold that in your heart as the why. And then you'll figure out a way to survive this until we shut it down. But you need to show up. You need to call your congressman or woman and representative. You need to make the appointments, and we need to put them on the spot. We need to show them that this is real and it's not fantastical. And I am counting on every single warrior, the warrior in you, to make this happen. Because a few of us can do a lot. We can rock the tree, but it needs a village to accomplish what we need to accomplish. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. And to the person that said that would like to do art for us, I would very much welcome it. Please write to tjustice2@proton.me and say you would like to, because we'd love to. We want to grow our store, the merchandise in there. So if you can help us assign really good stuff, we would very, very much welcome it. To the V2K people, and even the non-V2K people, I have to say, do not forget to do your positive affirmations every day. I ignore everything from the criminals. I will only react to constructive suggestions. I will have pleasant dreams tonight, over and over, as you are, rocking yourself to sleep, because it works as a firewall against these criminals and against the bad dreams and against the, all the things these people do. Okay? So having said that, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me your time, which I know is so precious. And I hope to see you here next week.